Hello and welcome back to Geek Space. I'm Cade.
And I'm Chad Moyes.
We don't do last names.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Gosh,
I'm
dang
just
it.
Chad.
Just like the old days. Actually, I'm having a lot of deja vu right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's weird.
I wonder why. Today we're talking about Black Panther, Wakanda Forever expectations. I don't know about you. I'm really excited about this movie.
I am too, actually. I think it's going to turn out really well. Still, kind of with their track record lately, you still kind of have a little bit holding you back. But, I mean, Black Panther's done pretty well, so.
Yeah. No, there's only a couple things that I need to pick apart from it. Okay. The first thing I need to give credit to is Namor. Namor looks awesome. I think they did really good. And I do actually like that they have made him Aztec instead of Atlantean.
Yeah.
I like that because we already have a comic book character Atlantean. It's Aquaman. We already have that. So I'm kind of glad that we're taking another route with that.
Instead of kind of just piece for piece,
Right.
copy.
Yeah. So, which, I mean, as I've mentioned before in further, past videos, and I will keep mentioning because it happens, is Marvel had that track record of here's this character, and then DC would be like, oh, well, here's this character who's similar, and they would go back and forth, just like how he talked about Captain Marvel or Shazam.
Yeah.
Literally
exactly.
cheap copy of Captain Marvel from
Or the same
Marvel
idea
comics.
as Wonder Man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think especially with Chadwick's death, that they're gonna put a lot of focus into honoring that legacy. And I think that's primarily why this movie might be such a big hit, such a big success, is because of that sole reason that they don't want this movie to flop, because
Right.
the movie flopping would be his legacy flopping in a sense,
And not only that, but kind of within She-Hulk, there was that nod in the finale that, this like our
The FX team.
yeah, the FX team are now onto a bigger projects, and then the Wakandan drums played, and I think that was just a nod. Like, we didn't give you like such a great show because we have such a great movie coming out, and like I can only have high hopes for that this is literally going to put the MCU back on the right track of things, and I've said that multiple times. She-Hulk it didn't meet any expectation I had, not even the lowest expectation I had.
It raised it opposite. No, I completely agree. Like, quite literally, like, I think Marvel's taking a good step in the direction of, like, all right, hey, we're gonna push these projects back. Like, we're gonna give them time. We're gonna give them, a chance to be able to have that quality, because I would say quality over quantity. Like, I can wait,
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Like, I mean, these DC movies being pushed back and pushed back. Honestly, after Black Adam, sorry, you know how we roll on this tangent. When it comes to the DC movies, I'm glad that they're pushing these movies back, because after Black Adam, I have hope now that Warner Brothers Discovery is actually going to make some pretty good projects.
Yeah.
And when it comes to the Marvel movies, I'd rather them push back the dates than try to give us movie after movie after movie, kind of like how they used to be doing. But that was when they were under really good direction. Right now, they're kind of in this point where they're trying to get back to where Endgame was, as we mentioned in past videos. So one can only hope that this is that step in the right direction of hitting that up curve, because I wouldn't say She-Hulk was definitely a move in the wrong direction, but it definitely didn't help them.
Yeah, I think something that was a good confidence boost as well is the fact in She-Hulk, she even mentioned the fact that fans weren't happy,
Right.
So, I mean, it goes to show that, like, they know and understand that fans aren't really doing really well with it, and I definitely think that kind of after Endgame, they kind of had this, I guess, a little bit of a phase of, like, oh man, everyone loves Marvel, we can just make money, and stuff. But I think they're going to get back into that phase of, all right, we got to give our movies quality, build up the fan base, and then we'll have our grand Endgames, again.
Right, because, I mean, we got two big projects coming up, which is the Kang Dynasty and Secret War. Those, and for those of you that don't know, Secret War is a huge thing that happens in the Marvel comic books, and that is like that's something that me as a fan who's read the Secret War comic books, both the original and the newer one that had come out, that is a big event, a giant event, and it's not, even though Civil War was a great movie in the MCU, there was so much that happened in the Civil War comic books that was not mentioned. Like, for them to be like, this is a big event coming out, just like how Endgame was, I mean, I want them to do it right. Mm-hmm. So I don't want them to come out with it super fast or super quick, because I want the quality, not the quantity, like you were saying. So I completely agree with you, 110%. Mm-hmm. In fact, one thing that I feel like they can do really good when it comes to quality of this movie is maybe introducing the Fantastic Four. Just like how it was originally, well, a little bit backwards. Black Panther was introduced in the Fantastic Four comic books.
Oh, yeah. Huh.
So how cool would it be that in Wakanda Forever, even a post-credit scene, there's the Fantastic Four or a Fantastic Four member. Mm-hmm. It was actually teased and rumored that we were going to get Ben Grimm in She-Hulk, you know, and which is, he was going to be played by Jason Segel, which I think is a great cast. I love him as an actor. I mean, I think it would be great. But even just introducing him in Wakanda
just the
Forever.
character alone, yeah. No, I honestly, like, with that as well, I've heard a lot of mentions and rumors about Doom, you know, being inside it. And, you know, Doctor Doom, I think, is a character for sure, you know, kind of with the Fantastic Four. I would prefer that route, because I feel like with Doctor Doom, like, you want to, like, build up to that, you know, because he's, you know, one, for starters, he's already been in Fantastic Four projects. I think throwing him in the first Fantastic Four movie might not be the best play.
Right.
You know, but I definitely think, like, that would be the play of, like, you know, either a character, like, some type of Fantastic Four mention, you know, rather than Doctor Doom, because I feel like that's a character that needs to be built up, you know, because of how great of a, you know, character he is.
I mean, they could definitely go the route of we've come to the point to where I'm just going to put it right here for you.
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about, though.
Yeah.
If they were to introduce them into Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, with Atuma, Doctor Doom, Red Skull, Hyperion, all of that, I mean, that would alone be a good mention, a good Easter egg into something, you know, or a good lead into something. Or just a mention
of a team alone.
Right. So, which thinking about it, I'm pretty sure they won't do that, because, I mean, we do have the Thunderbolts coming out.
Yeah.
And that alone is more of like an anti-Avenger type thing.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't know. But I'm agreeing with you that some mention, even Doctor Doom, would be great. So, Atuma alone being in this movie, so it's already been mentioned and brought up, and spoiler if you didn't want to know this, if you're trying to avoid
all spoilers,
any type of spoiler, you haven't seen the trailer yet or anything, just skip past this. But Atuma is the main bad guy in this. It's not just Namor. Atuma is like setting up a war for like Namor and his army to go up against the Wakandans.
Yeah.
You know, that's the main plot of the story. So Namor's not a bad guy.
Yeah, no, he's kind of just, it's, what was it? Actually, no, keep going. I'm gonna mind blank.
So Namor's not the bad guy. There are times in the comic books where he's done something that's selfish and not right, but he's more of a superhero. He's just doing what is good for his people. Not to say he's an anti-hero. He's not, but he helps the Avengers out in a lot of things, and he's actually a part of the 616 Illuminati. So him being introduced just maybe means that we might get a 616 Illuminati here soon.
Yeah, and that'd definitely be super interesting. Kind of like where I was going is like, you know, it definitely does seem like Marvel will go down the route of, you know, all right, here's your what you think is villain, you know, obviously kind of just to put people's attention away from the actual villain. And I think that's going to be their grand reveal for sure. Right. You know?
Yeah. So you mentioned it, Chadwick Boseman passed away. How do you think that'll affect the movie? Because I'm sitting here kind of thinking, like, I just keep remembering when he first passed away, his brother said to the Marvel executives, it'll be okay and it'll be right if you recast Black Panther. Because he understood, Chadwick Boseman understood how important Black Panther was to the Marvel, storyline. Like, Black Panther is in so much, it's not even funny. But obviously, and this isn't a spoiler, everybody knows this, there is no technical Black Panther in the movie.
Yeah.
So T'Challa, T'Challa will not be in the movie. He was not recast. Chadwick Boseman died with the role, which, don't get me wrong, I don't want any hate for this. I think he deserves it, honestly. Like, I was kind of I was on the fence about it. I was like, I agree. Like, there needs to be a Black Panther. Like a T'Challa Black Panther, But at the same time, Chadwick Boseman was it. That's like Chris Evans dying before Endgame could come out.
Yeah, it's like the character.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He did such a great job. He was the Black Panther, and he owned it. And so, I don't know. I feel like it's right and wrong in the same sense that they didn't recast Black Panther, but there's somebody else.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I think Marvel, and I don't know your thoughts on this, I think Marvel's playing an interesting game. One thing I'm specifically thinking of is, I forgot his name, but the actor who plays as General Ross,
Right.
And how there's rumors of, him being recasted. And I think that's super interesting because you have one character, who they're choosing not to, and then another character who they're looking at. And I guess where I'm trying to get with this is I'm hoping they're not going to use Chadwick's death as, kind of milking it,
Right.
like for money in a sense, and I'm hoping that this movie is more of a tribute instead of a, hey, like, come celebrate Chadwick and come see the movie,
right,
type of thing.
No, I agree with that. See, and what I'm trying to say with my point is the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't want them to milk it by being like, Chadwick's the only Black Panther, even though he is. Again, I gotta say that he is. It's one of those things. His brother and even Chadwick himself, this is a quote from his brother, said they both knew that there needs to be a Black Panther.
Yeah. And that too is like the thing, kind of like when Marvel was doing their Marvel Legends Awards, and they decided like 2-3 years after Chadwick's death to finally give him this award, which coincidentally was right before the movie came out. It's kind of things like that. You're like, all right, like, are we actually respecting Chadwick's legacy, or are you kind of just using his death for promotion? Right.
And with us here as a channel, we respect Chadwick, and we hope he rests in peace. Huge respect for him. Yeah. He made Black Panther what it was. Again, that's why there's a side of me that's like, no, they're doing the right thing but not recasting him. But I completely agree that marketing needs to stay with, like, the fact that there is a new Black Panther. I definitely think the movie will tribute that. I feel like a lot of the emotions we're going to see on screen are real. Yeah. And I definitely think that while the making of this movie, everybody felt those emotions. That's why it's been a little bit, like, pushed back, because it's still pretty fresh, and the only question I have is, how did Black Panther die?
That's that's the big thing.
Because, I know, obviously everybody knows how Chadwick died, and it's terrible, and, our hearts are with his family, but how did Black Panther die? T'Challa himself, because in the comic books, T'Challa lives for a long time.
Yeah, he's
pretty
time. Indestructible in a sense,
Like, he's like super soldier serum type living. Like, Captain America, like, Steve Rogers lived for a long time. That's why I think Captain America is still alive. Because super soldier serum keeps him alive for a long time. Same with Black Panther. Black Panther lived for a long time. So how do you think it happened? Because I don't really have a theory. I don't know.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm very interested to see, like, obviously, we're not gonna go down a route of actually seeing it, but story wise, obviously we know Marvel's probably gonna throw something super heroic in. I don't think they'll be like, oh yeah, like, he just, like, medically die, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I don't think that'd be very good. But I'm trying to think just back on, you know, the timeline that we have right now with Marvel is like, okay, like with everything going on, how are you going to fit this in all that chaos? How are you going to explain his death among other projects or, you know, in the timeline? Like, I don't know. And another question raises is, okay, with his death in the movie, is that going to raise other players, if that makes sense? Right. Is there someone who had killed him or somebody that he was dealing with that brings a new player onto the field? You know, and I think that's a big question I have, you know?
Yeah. I mean, because we know in the next movie, Kang the Conqueror is going to be the next villain. Mm-hmm. That's Ant-Man, Quantumania. Mm-hmm. Could it be that maybe that's how Kang's name is mentioned now? Or how he's kind of introduced? Because he was introduced in Loki. Mm-hmm. But is this now like Kang killed Black Panther? Mm-hmm. You know? I feel like that's going to be a little messed up on timeline wise, but I mean, that's maybe a theory that I got. I'm honestly thinking, though, they're not even going to mention it. I think that it's going to be like, you know, a celebration of life scene. Mm-hmm. Everybody's going to be sad, and then they're going to find a way to, you know, build over it. Mm-hmm. And I don't think they're even going to mention how he died. Yeah. I think it's just going to be like Black Panther's dead. Yeah. You know, which I hope be okay with, because kind of like you said, I feel like it might be milking it a little bit. Mm-hmm. You know, being like, oh, Black Panther died, being a hero, giving hope to the people, like Chadwick Boseman did. Mm-hmm. Which, again, not disrespecting at all. No. It's just, I don't want Marvel to do that. I don't want them to kind of, like, take how it happened, why it happened, and what he did for fans, and put a spin on it in which they think is good, but it's actually not. You know, and a lot of corporations do that. So I just don't want it to happen like that. Yeah. So I'm honestly hoping that it's not even mentioned. You know,
which actually raises another question I think more about is Black Panther being such a huge character in the Marvel universe so far. Who do you think is going to be there at the funeral? I mean, think about it. Like, we can probably expect. I mean, it's a big movie. We can probably expect some players there, you know, that knew and fought with him. So it kind of makes you wonder who could be there.
Yeah, I definitely think that we're going to see Bucky again.
Yeah.
You know,
no, I could see that.
With him living in Wakanda and getting to know these people, becoming the White Wolf, I think he'll be there. I want to say, Captain America.
I think about that. I'm like, hey, because it's been a bit, we're going to need answers, you know.
But here's the thing, too, is because in the comic books, him and Black Panther are friends.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
But within the movies, per se, hasn't really been a huge...
It's been this, like, acquaintance more of, yeah.
You know, like, it's been more of a respect type thing between them, not necessarily a friendship. So I don't really know. I definitely think we'll see Bucky, for sure. I think we'll see Bucky. Yeah. But I don't think we'll see anybody else really. Maybe Bruce Banner.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I could see something like that.
But yeah, I just I don't quite know really. Then there's another question. There's a lot of questions if you can't tell with this movie. Like, who is the next Black Panther?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Because I feel like you have all the like, okay, Shuri, his sister, or his like right hand general from the what is it, Miro Delage? Is that how you say that?
I think so.
It's close to that. It's something like that. I hope. No offense to anybody if I said that at all. I don't know. It's close to that. You know who I'm talking about. Or somebody said his mom.
No, I can't. I could see fans laughing too hard at that. I don't know. But you see, here's the thing too, is like, you have to think of Marvel and think like, all right, like, I feel like a player that we could kind of eliminate from that is most likely his sister. And even though we saw like Black Panther using like the cannons on the hands or whatever, kind of with that is like, I feel like that would be everyone's first guess is like, oh, a female Panther, you know, it's like his sister, you know, but I don't think they would make it that easy, you know. It's going to be some reveal, and I think that's one player we can obviously eliminate from the idea.
Well, the director has said that nobody's guessed it yet.
Mm-hmm.
So here's a guess that I have not seen on Instagram, TikTok. Maybe you've seen it. Maybe you've seen it. Mm-hmm. His girlfriend.
I actually thought about that too.
Yeah. Because like it's not somebody. It's not somebody you would think.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I gotta guess that. I think that's what the reveal is going to be. Is that it's her.
And with her, wanting to help people, and he's like, hey, like, stay with me, I could definitely see her kind of taking up that mantle. Like, look, I'm respecting what T'Challa did, and I'm gonna be the Black Panther. I'm gonna fight for the people's freedoms, things like that. And so I completely wholeheartedly
because in the comic books, the Black Panther is the royalty of Wakanda. But in the movies, it specifically said he's the protector, or the Black Panther is the protector of Wakanda, not the ruler. So I'm thinking that it could be... What's Black Panther girlfriend's name?
Nakia. Nakia. Yeah, right?
Is it Nakia? I feel like that's
I swear it's company. Nakia. Like, Nakia. I swear that's it. I'm like so.
I don't know.
I
bet it. I feel like it is.
I'm pretty
it feels
sure
right.
It is. I'm pretty sure.
It feels right.
Yeah. Nakoya.
So I'm thinking, Nakia.
Nakia. I swear that's what it is.
I'm so scared.
Yeah, it's like way off.
But I think that it's his girlfriend for sure, because I think that she's gonna basically tell Shuri like, hey, you know what? You're going to become the queen. You're the next in line. Like you just handle the throne, because I bet Shuri's going to be stressed out of her mind trying to fill the shoes of her brother. Yeah. And then I feel like that's going to be it. I feel like that's going to be one of the main plots, is that she feels stressed because now she has to learn how to be the queen on top of her already being like the head of IT for all of Wakanda. And then on top of that, she has to be the Black Panther. Yep. I feel like she's going to be like, I need help from somebody.
Yeah, just like kind of split the responsibility for sure. I agree.
So I think that's what's going to happen. And I feel like either Okoye or...
I swear it's Nakia.
Or Nakia.
We're just going to pretend.
Yeah. I feel like one of them are going to step up and be like, I'll be the protector. I definitely think it's Nakia, though, because I can see that, because she had, in the last movie, it was a whole... Well, sorry about that. Ran into a bit of technical difficulty at the end of this video, but we were pretty much done talking about it anyways. That is our final guess, that Nakia will be the Black Panther. We're also excited for the introduction of Ironheart into this. We tried to give you the quick origin. However, again, technical difficulties. Just a couple key points. She's not replacing Iron Man. She's simply just another smart person in an iron suit. We will see a lot more of Ironheart throughout the MCU. She's scheduled to be in Armor Wars and also her own series called Ironheart. But make sure you guys like, subscribe, make sure you follow the Instagram, the TikTok, and the Twitch. We are putting out stuff on TikTok now, and it's going great. So thanks for geeking out with us.